In today's digital world, privacy concerns are more prevalent than ever. One of the most terrifying thoughts many people have is the idea that their phone camera might be secretly activated, and they are being watched without their knowledge. It's a question that has sparked debates among tech enthusiasts, security experts, and even the general public. Can phone cameras be hacked? The short answer is yes, but the reality is much more nuanced. In this video, we will explore the myths and realities of phone camera hacking, breaking down the facts and shedding light on the possibilities of digital surveillance. The basics of phone camera hacking. The idea of phone cameras being hacked to watch you is a concept rooted in both truth and exaggeration. As technology has advanced, the possibility of hacking into a phone's camera has increased, but it's not as simple as a hacker remotely spying on you while you go about your day-to-day life. While it is possible for malicious actors to gain access to your phone's camera, it typically requires a specific set of conditions. Hackers must exploit software vulnerabilities, usually in apps you downloaded or in the operating system itself. There have been several reported cases of phone camera hacks, but they often involve significant vulnerabilities that can be patched through updates. A report from Kaspersky Lab found that many of the most common hacks that exploit phone cameras stem from spyware or malware that users inadvertently download, often through seemingly harmless apps. These apps, once granted permission to access your camera, can potentially activate it remotely. However, the major players in the smartphone industry, Apple and Google, have been continuously improving security measures to minimize these risks. How hackers gain access. The role of vulnerabilities and malicious apps. To understand how phone cameras can be hacked, it's important to know how hackers gain access to your device in the first place. One of the most common methods is through malicious apps. Cybersecurity researchers have consistently warned about the dangers of third-party apps that request access to your camera, microphone, and other sensitive features. While some apps request these permissions for legitimate reasons, like video calls or photo editing, others misuse them for data collection or even surveillance. A study by NortonLifeLock revealed that over 30% of smartphone apps ask for camera permissions that are not necessary for their core functionality. For instance, a weather app that asks for camera access might be a red flag. If you unknowingly grant permissions to these apps, they can activate your camera without your knowledge. Some advanced spyware can also silently record footage and transmit it to the attacker, all without showing any visible signs of camera activity. Spyware and remote access. The silent threat. Spyware is another significant threat when it comes to phone camera hacking. In fact, spyware is one of the most effective tools used by hackers to remotely control your phone and spy on you. This type of software is designed to monitor your phone's activities without your consent. Once installed, spyware can gather information, track your location, access messages, and even turn on your camera or microphone. Its ability to operate discreetly makes it an ideal tool for malicious surveillance. One of the most infamous spyware programs, Pegasus, has been known to exploit vulnerabilities in both iOS and Android systems. This spyware gained international attention when it was used to target journalists, politicians, and human rights activists. Though Pegasus is primarily aimed at high-profile individuals, the technology behind it has become more widely accessible, and there are now cheaper alternatives available. These alternatives can target a much broader audience, from ordinary users to business professionals. Security experts continue to warn about the risk of spyware infections through phishing attacks, malicious links, or even compromised Wi-Fi networks. The increase in the use of these tools has led to a rise in digital surveillance, with hackers now able to spy on unsuspecting individuals using increasingly sophisticated methods. Additionally, spyware can often be installed unnoticed, especially through seemingly harmless apps or email attachments. It can remain active for weeks or even months without detection, silently collecting data, including turning on your phone's camera without any visual cues. With the growing availability of this type of malicious software, it's more important than ever for users to be cautious when downloading apps or clicking on unfamiliar links. iPhone versus Android are both equally vulnerable. When it comes to phone camera security, there are notable differences between iPhone and Android devices. iPhones are generally considered to have stronger security due to Apple's closed ecosystem and strict App Store review process. Apple implements several layers of security that make it more difficult for hackers to exploit vulnerabilities. Additionally, Apple's use of hardware-based security features, such as the Secure Enclave, adds an extra layer of protection. However, iPhones are not immune to camera hacks. iOS security researchers discovered a few zero-day vulnerabilities that allowed apps to bypass privacy controls and access the camera without permission. These vulnerabilities were quickly patched, but they serve as a reminder that no device is entirely immune from attack. Android phones, on the other hand, are more customizable, which makes them more susceptible to security risks. The Android operating system allows users to install apps from third-party sources, which increases the likelihood of encountering malicious software. While Google has made significant strides in securing the Android ecosystem, the more open nature of the platform leaves it more vulnerable to hacks. A report by Trend Micro highlighted that Android phones were more likely to be targeted by spyware that used the camera for surveillance. The ability to sideload apps and the lack of rigorous app review processes on alternative app stores make Android phones a more attractive target for hackers. Can you tell if your camera is being used? One of the key concerns people have when it comes to camera hacking is whether they would be able to tell if their camera is being accessed without their knowledge. Modern smartphones come equipped with a small indicator light next to the camera that activates when the camera is in use. However, this feature is not foolproof. Some advanced spyware programs can manipulate the operating system to disable the indicator light, allowing the camera to be used without your awareness. This means that even if the indicator light doesn't turn on, the camera could still be actively recording. A study by F-Secure found that while many smartphones have these privacy indicators, they are not always effective at preventing unauthorized access. The research revealed that hackers have found ways to bypass these indicators by utilizing apps that run in the background, or by exploiting operating system vulnerabilities. These apps can access the camera without showing any visible signs of activity, effectively avoiding detection. Additionally, some forms of malware can operate so stealthily that even the most attentive users may never notice any signs of intrusion. Therefore, while the indicator light can provide some peace of mind, it is not a guarantee that your camera is secure. Being aware of other potential signs of hacking, like rapid battery drain or unusual app behavior, is equally important. How to protect yourself from camera hacks. While it's true that phone cameras can be hacked, the good news is that there are several steps you can take to protect yourself. The first line of defense is to regularly update your phone's operating system and apps. Both Apple and Google release security updates that address known vulnerabilities, so keeping your phone up to date is crucial for protecting your privacy. Additionally, it's important to be mindful of the apps you install. Only download apps from trusted sources, such as the official App Store or Google Play Store. Be cautious of apps that request unnecessary permissions, especially camera and microphone access. If an app doesn't need camera access to function, don't grant it. Many smartphones, including iPhones and Android devices, allow you to manage app permissions at a granular level, so you can revoke access at any time. Another effective way to protect yourself is to use a physical camera cover or lens blocker. These inexpensive accessories can be attached to your phone's camera lens, preventing it from being used even if your phone is hacked. While this may seem like overkill to some, it's an easy and practical solution for those who are particularly concerned about privacy. That's all for today's video. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more tech tips and security updates. Hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest content. Stay safe and keep your privacy intact.